There's that great Mark Twain quote about never let schooling interfere with a great education, and I definitely did not let school interfere with a great education. It's hard when you're just a singer, right? I love playing with the band. I had a good band around me. I love singing songs, love having a few drinks while we're playing and just harmonizing and picking together. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I've always felt like I've been able to follow some sort of muse. It's helped me make the right choices or the difficult choices, and it's kept me pushing forward. There's just such a great community that exists amongst country music people. The people that come out to these shows, they have a strong sense of community and who they are, and they're proud of it, and they want to share it with you and share it with their friends. And when you walk up there on stage, you just feel like you're just joining that local country community, and they take you right in.
Buena Vista is located due west of Denver. We all probably in the mountain towns had mining, and that's what started all the businesses. We are now estimated to be around 2,700 people, almost 2,800. I love people coming in the door. I get to meet them. I get to interact with everybody that passes through town. Doesn't matter who it is. And I think that's really what makes what I do so simple. All I have to do is listen. I'm Duff Lacey, Mayor of Buena Vista. I've been here for 22 years, and the scenery is still awe-inspiring. The fact that I can open my garage doors and look at Buffalo Peaks in the morning, that just amazes me. I had grown up in a small town and wanted my family to have the same experiences and opportunities that we had had to live and play in a small town. It's one of those things that I guess it's hard to explain. It's in your blood. It's just something you live for, you love. It's a feeling of family.
Bike shop on the left.
Yeah, man.
Bike shop. This is our distillery.
Cool.
Outdoor store.
Yeah.
The bakery.
So there's tons of hiking around here, obviously.
Sandwiches there?
Sure, yeah.
Then there's all of this.
Oh, man.
And then there's all of that.
Man. I'm gonna camp out right there.
In and around the trees. And
People out there. Build it. Hopefully they'll come.
Growing up in Arizona, I was really influenced by my sister. Really, I have a sister that's 3 years older than me, so I was really influenced by her love of music and the posters she had and stuff. And my dad loved country music. We always listened to country music in the car, and that was something we kind of bonded over. But when I was 13, a friend of mine introduced me to the electric guitar. That kind of changed my whole world. It was the first time I realized you could actually play music and not just listen to it. I was already kind of getting in some trouble with a couple friends of mine, and my mom sent me away for high school. So yeah, I went to school in New Jersey for 4 years, which was wild. Really got in touch with just missing and missing home and that feeling of lonesomeness. And at some point, my buddy Jack played me this Hank Jr. song. I really found country music and found it to be something that was just purely mine. It was this internal discovery of something that really connected with my soul.
We bring buses in.
Well, how do we get the word out? How do you capture this on film? It's hard to like.
Start hammering.
Yeah, it's hard to really capture.
Pick up a hammer and just start swinging.
I felt the need to go to Nashville without really even knowing what it was, 'cause I just knew Nashville was the heart of country music. I want to be a country music singer. I know it's a crazy dream, but I just have a connection to this music that I can't explain. It just was so, really a pure thing. And I just knew, despite whether lack of talent I had or connections or anything, that I needed to be in Nashville. So and was able to kind of talk my way into being a student of Vanderbilt. Moved down there in 1994 and started just trying to figure out how to begin chasing this crazy dream of being a country singer. I was obsessed with having a fake ID when I was, in my late teens. And it wasn't so much about drinking, it was about just getting into bars. I just wanted to get into bars. Bars seemed very exciting to me. It's where everything was happening. And so a friend of mine had said, hey, well, I'll go down and watch some bluegrass at this place called the Station Inn.
Well, the Station Inn originally opened up in 1974, and it was opened by some bluegrass musicians that played. And at that time, there wasn't a place in town for like the musicians to go and sit in or jam, so to speak.
I was thinking bluegrass is kind of like old school Roy Clark, hee-haw stuff, which I love, but it didn't really have an interest for me at that time in my life. So we walked in, and yeah, it was a really pivotal moment. I'd say it was as pivotal as meeting my wife, and that same feeling of like, wow, this is like a really meant to be kind of thing. But the energy in that room was just like, wow, you could feel it. It was just a real positive place with a really authentic environment.
Dierks is just a likable guy, so you can't help but talk to him and get to know him, Through Dierks coming in here, he got to be friends with the band, and they just sort of took a liking to him, so they started inviting him up to play.
There was this great band made up of sidemen who play for, people like Bill Monroe or the Osborne Brothers. They're called sidemen. They play, in those guys' bands. So you had the fiddle player who played for Bill Monroe. You had the guitar player who became one of my best friends, Terry Eldridge, who played guitar for the Osborne Brothers.
The first time I met Dierks, I kissed him right on the mouth. No, I didn't.
In the Del McCurry band, you had Rob and Ronnie McCurry, and
I knew that the sidemen were playing here, and I guess that would have been some of my boys.
and then back on bass, a guy from Arizona named Mike Bubb.
We sort of became a band of brothers in a way, And eventually, the crowds grew, and we had a great audience every week, but we built it, and we were here for 16 years.
And so he was a big influence on me as well. So they all were in some way. Kind of learning how to sing and how to play and how to play with other people on stage and how to talk between songs and just how to drink. Kind of learned that there too.
They'll get up there and they can just turn loose and not have to worry about anything, They can just sing what they want to do or play any. They can relax, I'll put it that way. All the worries and cares of this world were outside that door. And here it didn't matter.
I've never had any voice or music lessons. That was it. Paying my $5 cover charge and just watching these guys firsthand.
And through that process, I think they started telling all their friends. They said, look, we're going to Station Inn, you should come down there with us. And they sort of built their own little social scene down here.
They really liked us a lot because we brought in a much younger demographic. Brought along a few girls as well, which I'm sure the guys didn't mind.
It was the place to be in Nashville at that time, on Tuesday night especially.
Half the crowd was college kids. And that was all because of Dierks and his friends bringing other kids from Vanderbilt down to watch us in there.
We want to thank them because they put a lot of gas in our tanks and food on our table, believe it or not. The best part about the Station Inn is it really has never really changed that much. It's an iconic place because of that, I think, because very little change has happened here.
Back then, it was the only building in that whole area. There was nothing there. It was kind of the outskirts of Lower Broadway, and there's this like gray cinder block building, and now it's just surrounded by these hotels and condos and turn-up truck, fresh produce, organic markets and sushi restaurants, and it's still hanging on. We gotta make sure we never lose the Station Inn because our city's changing so much, and there's a few landmarks, but this is up there with the Ryman Auditorium, this is up there with the Grand Ole Opry, and you can't say enough things about the Station Inn and how important it is. It has been in Nashville.
Fortunately, the city likes the Station Inn. Nashville likes the Station Inn. I had to sort of pinch myself every now and then to make sure that it's true, that I'm still here and it's done what it's done. And people love it all over the world.
I hope the Station Inn stays the same. Never change.
first big meadow. At least the chicken maps that we did. You can go over all the RVs, but it was like 4,500 campsites.
4,500 where?
Kind of from here going that way.
Yeah. This place could hold a lot of people.
I'm Dawn Jump, and I'm the owner of Jumping Good Goat Dairy in Buena Vista, Colorado. When I was 10 years old, I bought my first goat, and I fell in love with them then, and so Jumping Good Goat Dairy is my passion and my life. It was founded by me when my children were really small, and together we built this dairy. We share the love of nature and outdoors and adventure. We're pretty hardcore that way. I'm a fourth-generation Coloradan native, and I love it here. When I was a child, my first impression then was it was so clean and cool and crisp and so full of nature and beauty, and just like having a playground in your backyard.
There's a really just innate sense of wisdom and just intuitiveness that comes when you're younger. And I don't know if it's wisdom or just like lack of wisdom, but you're just doing it because you feel it. You're not doing it because you're thinking about it. It's not methodical, it's not thought out. It's just like, this is what I want to do. And that's the way all, not knowing is the way all, truly all great discoveries are made, whether it's scientific or, or just musical. It's like admitting you don't know, but you're just doing it. I was working on it from several different angles. I was playing backyard barbecues, I was playing tailgate parties with a generator, I was playing crawfish boils, I played art gallery openings, and I finally got a gig at a place called Springwater Lounge and Supper Club. I got paid free beer, free natural light, warm draft beer, and it was the best gig of my life. I was so excited just to be able to grab your guitar and walk out the door and throw it in your truck and like have a gig. That's a big deal.
He would play anywhere, anytime, and that's all he wanted to do. Of course, he wasn't married, didn't have a family at the time, and he had a band behind him that was ready to go and do that. And nobody worked harder than that guy to get out there and get in front of people and develop his audience and promote himself, which is what you have to do. You have to be in 110%, because nobody's going to do that for you. And all along the way, he's developing as an entertainer.
I had to use literally every moment to like learn something, about how to do this.
He was here day after day, week after week, working on his craft of songwriting and learning to play and playing his thing on Wednesday nights. Every once in a while, I'd play with him down there. And you could see it really developing, It didn't hurt that he was, extra handsome. So all of a sudden, everybody starts paying attention to this kid, this new kid that's got these, clever songs that he's written, and that's where it all starts. Starts to snowball from there.
Then the next thing we know, he's out. He's got a hit record, which is great. Because, he sort of honed his skills here.
When he hit the stage, I was amazed. I was like, man, this is the guy that used to come and hang out at the Station Inn. He's a superstar.
I had no idea how far Dierks would go with this, I mean, I knew he liked it, and I knew he loved it, and that. I was just so tickled and so glad for him, proud of him. He's like my brother.
When he did get his first hit record, he said he told him to make one for the Station Inn when they made up the record plaques for him.
One of the first people and places I want to make sure there was a record hanging was at the Station Inn. So they got a little shrine to me there in the corner on the wall. It's great walls, all these hat show prints of bluegrass festivals and concerts that have happened. I'm lucky to have a little spot up there on the wall, so it's a pretty big honor.
He has never forgotten us and where he came from in the early years of his career.
That's a gift, really, because some people just move on and They never look back. They don't have time to look back.
We still miss him coming around here as much, but he's a busy man these days. He's a big hit, and that's great.
I feel like I'd never imagined having the success that I've had. I never got into it for money or success. I got into it, I just want to be on a bus playing music with the guys and traveling around the country. But yeah, you reach a certain point where it's like, wow, I've been given a lot. And you know, everything that's been given to me has come from the fans. And there's such a connection you get through doing good things with other people. You know, this feeling of just like we're doing something together that's important.
Green as green can be. And look at that view. Through these trees, you can do stuff. This could all be VIP. There's so many different ways we can do it.
Are we doing a festival or starting a town?
Yes.
Hey, so I've come by here a bunch of my family over the years to participate. Had some guys in the band showed up as well over the years, and really what I thought would be great is just to start the summer off in a really positive, good vibe way. You know, just having fun in a way that's giving back.
I'm Marion Edson, Director of Donor Relationships for Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. Our mission was and is always to feed hungry people and work to solve hunger issues in our community, and that's what we do every day. Dierks and his family have been here countless times. He's here as a community volunteer, a dad, husband, you know, really just wanting to do good in the community. He's really just one of the group trying to make a difference.
When it came time to make videos for the album, I wanted, instead of just making a video about myself or, you know, look at how cool we are, and, you know, how can you use one person's story maybe to, like, really have a bigger impact on our fan base. And so we just started looking for people that are making a difference in the community.
I'm Jennifer Floyd, and this is my amazing daughter, Sydney. We absolutely love to volunteer. I mean, we look for every type of opportunity. There's no shortage of need, and there's always something going on.
We love to volunteer at food banks, and we go on the streets to help the homeless. And we love packing backpacks for kids with school supplies and food. So just like those little things can make a big difference in someone's life.
Really the care and time they're putting into these little care packages and then going out there and delivering them to people in person. I mean, what a great story. And I feel like if we could shine some light on that for the official Woman Amen video.
He just comes in singing Woman Amen. My mom actually grabs my arm and starts walking backwards. And then my mom says, I'm gonna need a chair if you continue to talk.
Maybe I could entice you guys, invite you guys to be part of my music video for this song, Woman Amen, and get the story out for everyone to see it.
I mean, it's Dierks Bentley. I mean, what else do you say?
It's an honor to have them involved in the Woman Amen video, and they have inspired me as much as anybody else, so I'm really thankful to have met them. Colorado's just played a really big role throughout this most recent round of self-discovery. I'm from Arizona originally, and I grew up in this mountain in my backyard, and it just kind of missed the West, you know, and I spent a lot of time in Colorado. My sister lives in Colorado, and the muse felt like I needed to be in Colorado for some reason.
Some people ask how you pronounce the town, Buena Vista. Actually, it does mean beautiful view, but the newcomers, when you see them come in, they know it's Buena Vista. You know, we love it. We call it BV, we call it Buny. You know, it really doesn't matter. It's here, it's what it is. You just accept it and roll.
Buena Vista, Buena Vista. I'm from Arizona, so it's always gonna be Buena Vista to me. Sorry, I'm too close to the border.
I think what makes Buena Vista so special is the location and the people, the sense of community. Why we all came here, we share that.
In a small town, everybody knows everybody. We have a dinner that lines Main Street. Thousands of people show up and eat at this dinner. It's a BV Strong dinner is what it's called. I think that's the part of the feel that I don't want to change, is that we are family. This town is very strong.
Let's get and check it out.
So far, I like what I've seen. I feel like everything's there except the final ingredient. Just need to check and make sure there's a good place to plunge every morning to wake up and kind of feel alive. You know, it could be a little colder. First thought, but all right. Like it? Clear? Sit down. I'm gonna be able to get it nice and calm. Enjoy it. I'm liking it. I feel like this could be a good spot, y'all.
When I first moved to Buena Vista, it was a very different place than it is today. My dad and I came out here and walked out into this field, and both of us just were in awe of this space and how beautiful it is. And the first thing that crossed my mind was what an unbelievable festival site it would make.
It's just this amazing place. Like, it was like, just here, this is the spot. I mean, it was perfect. There's these 14,000-foot mountains, 7 of them. So we're calling it 7 Peaks, and I couldn't be more excited about launching our very first music festival.
I'm BOC. I'm president of Country Touring for Live Nation. The laying out of any festival, I don't care where it is, but this one in particular, you're going to use what God has given you.
Once we had it in our hands, I really started to pursue this idea that maybe it is theoretically possible to do a music festival. What is it going to take? And how do we make this into, from a really what was a very rough historic farm, into a functional and world-class venue? So I went through the process of becoming a farmer, of all things. And something that I never certainly expected. I'm like, what are the hardest, most impossible things to do? And then I gravitate right towards them, so. At some point, you have to kind of just go for it. And you have to say, you know, we believe in it, and we hope others will too.
The reveal of the site, I mean, literally almost knocked me over. When you pull up to it, it looks like a hayfield. And trees and trees and trees. And yeah, you can see some mountains. But then when you get into the property and you go through what will be our grand entrance, and you walk about 20 feet and you go, oh my. And you look around and you can see the majesty of this area.
I think one of the beautiful possibilities that 7 Peaks has is to bring this town together.
Whatever I'm involved with, I go in on all the way. And so this, for me, involves having a mandolin on my back or guitar and just going anywhere and everywhere. So whether that's jumping up on the main stage with every band that plays, which I plan on doing, I'm gonna do that, but also just being out in the where people are camping.
The music will stand on its own. It's what happens in the campgrounds. It's what happens in the one-on-one interactions prior to, while there, and afterwards that will knit the fabric of the 7 Peaks community together.
Bring your guitar, no matter how good you are, how bad you are, or any instrument. Let's have some jams. Let's sing some Hank songs. Let's sing some Merle Haggard songs. Let's sing some George Strait songs.
I know it's hard to do all that, you know, but the fans out, they remember that, you know. The most advice I would offer him is find time to sleep. It's hard to do, I know.
I plan on sleeping 0. People just feel, even though they're not chasing the country music dream, they just feel compelled to be there, to be closer to the source of this music that is so important in their lives.
Songs tell a story that people can constantly relate to, even as the years go by. That is the hardest thing to do in the music business, put those things together. And it'll stick around with you forever.
His stated goal is, I want to do this for the rest of my career. That's the only way to go about it, because if you don't do it that way, the fan knows.
Country fans can see through, you know, a lack of authenticity more than anyone I know. Whether you're on stage, whether you're making music, or the way you dress, and that's why people love country music. They love the authenticness of it.
I think that country music really resonates well within town. And I think it's an opportunity for people to all share the same dance floor and have a good time.
It's community, it's small, it's local, it's love.
I really get a good feeling. It's kind of like home, you know.
It's going back to the roots, it's going back to what you want to be.
It's not about new, it's about things that have stories. Just stuff that's old and beat up, and whether I put the story in them or they've had a long story before me.
That means being outside, that means connecting with nature, it means connecting with your community and people. That's what small town means to me.
I just love the idea of things that have those stories built into them, so I'm all about just holding on to things that have meaning and value to you.